Hi, my loves. Here we are for the December 2020 Astrocast. Okay, we're going to talk about all the important or major astrological events for December 2020. And there are some biggies here. And if you're very familiar with astrology, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, and if you're not, we're going to talk about it now. Okay. Today is December 1st. If you're seeing this video later, we're recording this on December 1st and we're posting it on December 1st, okay? And today, Mercury steps into the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury is the planet that rules the mind, and also it rules verbal ability because Mercury is the communicator, okay? And so it was the messenger god. And because of that, stepping into Sagittarius, it actually rules in natural zodiac, Gemini and Virgo. Because it rules Gemini, and Sagittarius is the opposite sign of Gemini, Mercury in Sagittarius is not very comfortable, okay? When you have a planet stepping into a sign that is the opposite of the sign that it rules naturally in the natural zodiac, the planet doesn't feel as comfortable. So it might express a little bit of the sign's not so productive characteristics. And in Mercury in Sagittarius, we're looking at maybe something like, you know, I'm gonna think about stuff and analyze stuff and come to a conclusion, and then I'm gonna verbalize it as an opinion that everybody needs to follow. Okay, Sagittarius, if you're a Sagittarian, you know this very well. You guys are very knowledgeable. You guys have so much wisdom and knowledge and everything, but at times you may, kind of push that information onto people, and you're very opinionated and dogmatic, and you may say, this is what everybody needs to do. So that would be the sort of less productive expression of what the Sagittarian energy would be in Mercury and Sagittarius. So let's just kind of be aware that we do not want to engage in that sort of thing. And another thing with Mercury stepping into Sagittarius is this. Right now we're in Sagittarius season, as you've seen probably in the Sagittarius season video. And you understand that this means that the sun is in Sagittarius. So we have sun in Sagittarius, which is essence, okay? And the vital life force. And you have Mercury, the mind and verbal, stepping in and joining. And both of these are activating the south node, okay? You know, North Node is the point of purpose. Right now it's in the sign of Gemini, and South Node is always in the sign and house opposite to the North Node, which would be Sagittarius right now. So you're going to have Sun and Mercury activating the South Node. And the South Node is actually, because the North Node is the new energy you have to step into, the purpose point, the energy that you came here to embody. The South Node is energy you already have embodied. Probably you have experienced this energy in a past life if you believe in past lives, and you've accumulated this information. You have expertise in this type of energy that you can check, you know, sort of in your own chart by what sign that your South Node is and what house your South Node falls in. But the collective one right now in is in Sagittarius, and therefore, I think because it's also South Node is so related to the past and what you already have, most people associate it with karma, and because of this, you may have activation with things you have yet to finish learning, cycles you need to close, people that, maybe you haven't had some closure with. Those kind of things may be activated. Because Mercury is coming into the whole game, you are going to maybe also be thinking about these things. There are going to be maybe some limiting beliefs that are going to come up that, you know, we just had Thanksgiving and talk about family environment being something that triggers beliefs that we had, you know, from our parents, and maybe you think you already healed some of these things. Maybe you think you already uprooted and transmuted some of these what I call imposter content, which would be these limiting beliefs coupled with the stagnant energy that they help you, you know, kind of accumulate, okay, and the emotions that go with that. Maybe you think you've already worked it, but now you're going to see if there's something there left, you know, some kind of little weed that you need to still uproot and bless and release. Okay, so it's helpful in that regard. So after that, we've got the 14th, we've got the new moon in Sagittarius. New moon, of course, you know, it means the sun is in a sign and the moon is in the same sign. Full moon would be sun is in one sign, the moon is in the opposite sign, which is what we just had. We just had the full moon with an eclipse. Now we're going to have the new moon in December 14th, also with an eclipse. This is a total solar eclipse, and this is going to be interesting because we have all of this concentration of energy in Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius doesn't do anything small. Okay, you know this if you're a Sagittarian. Ruled by Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system. Sagittarius is always go big or go home. Eclipses, if you follow me on Instagram at Maril Solis Paz, you'll know that I just posted something about eclipses and what an eclipse means and and how the signs get affected and all these things in my IG story. So I encourage you to follow me there because I post a lot in between these videos, especially in stories. I'm having a lot of fun. So what happens is Sagittarius go big or go home. An eclipse is a before and after. It's a break. It's not a bend of thoughts and ideas and concepts and things that maybe I need to change a little bit. It's a break. Okay, it's like a breakdown, breakthrough. Okay, and so you have this eclipse in the sign that makes everything big, and you're gonna have maybe a big breakdown and a big breakthrough. I don't know how many of you this past weekend had any kind of breakthrough or breakdowns. Always a breakdown is leads into a breakthrough once you give it enough time and space. So when we had the eclipse in Gemini, maybe you had wherever that fell in your chart. I did a slight tutorial in this in my IG stories, how to find where the eclipse is really going to affect you and in which house it falls in your chart. That's what it depends on. If you felt this big break, it could be like even just a mental thing, something relational, something in your expression, something at work, something in personal relationships, but something shifted. Okay, and if you're aware, you felt it, you saw it, you maybe even talked about it. The same thing is going to happen on the 14th, but bigger. Okay, so I urge you to check where in your chart you have Sagittarius. I think this eclipse is going to happen. Let me check here on my iPad. On the 14th, it happens on 23rd degree of Sagittarius. So check where in your chart you have where it's located, the 23rd degree of Sagittarius. In that house, that area of your life is where you're going to have the specific breakdown, breakthrough that is going to come with this eclipse on the 14th in the sign of Sagittarius. Okay, if you haven't seen my houses video, there's a video here on this channel about what each house rules. So in case you're not familiar with, 10th house, okay, it's going to be in the area of career. 6th house might be health and all this stuff. You can check that video for that information. Okay, on the 15th, we've got Venus stepping into Sagittarius and coupled up. Okay, so you've already got the Sun in Sagittarius, you've got Mercury in Sagittarius, you got the South Node in Sagittarius, and now Venus comes to join the party. Venus is the planet of love, as everybody knows, but it's also the planet of finances. When Venus steps in Sagittarius, you're going to want to spend a little money. I urge you to save your money. Okay, this is not that kind of Christmas. This is a kind of Christmas where we're going through a ton of planetary change. We're on the verge of officially entering the era of Aquarius, which we're going to talk about right now, the Age of Aquarius, my sign I love. And so it's good to have your money in your pocket. It's good to have your money in your savings account. It's good to know what you're going to be dealing, so to have sort of a little bit saved up, so a little bit of safety, okay? Venus in Sagittarius makes us want to spend a little more, and I would not recommend that. I would say as much as you can save your money, because changes are going to be happening so often and so quickly, okay, in this era of Aquarius, that some of us are not going to know what's hitting us and what's left and what's right. And in that, you're going to need some sort of safety. And sometimes just knowing where your next meal is going to come from and knowing that you have safety, you have your 8-month savings or your 6-month emergency fund or whatever, is the key to that, okay? Because whether we like it or not, in this hologram that we call life, we have an energy exchange system based on something we call money. And so therefore you need that in order to get your food and pay your rent and all the basic needs of survival and shelter and all this stuff. And so therefore I would urge you to, even if you want to make these huge impulse buys for Christmas and it's loving and you're being generous, Sagittarius is a very generous sign, and I want to give to other people, find a different way to give, find a different way to show this. Keep your money in your pocket if you can, okay? Don't tell me that I didn't tell you, because This is what I do. I tell it like it is, okay? So it's just a very Sagittarius thing. My rising sign is in Sagittarius. Okay, so along with Venus and Sagittarius on the 15th, we also have Chiron going direct. Chiron is the wounded healer. This is the point in the chart where you see where that wound that you came with is, and the medicine you're going to find for it, and the medicine you're going to share with the world. Okay, when I do astro coaching chart readings, we really look at that sometimes to look at the wound that you may still either be nurturing or not, especially when you hit 50, which is when you have your Chiron return. You know, you have like, have I healed this wound? Have I found this medicine? Am I sharing it with the world type of thing? Okay, so Chiron has been retrograde. What retrograde, and it's been feeling like a restriction, and it's been feeling like I'm still, you know, kind of in the wound. Now it's going direct, and so anything that you have learned from the wounding in the past few weeks and months, you can now put into action, okay? Because Chiron happens to be in the sign of Aries, and Mars, the planet of action, is also in the sign of Aries, which is the sign of action, okay? And so action, 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 Jackson. With anything that you have already healed, you can move forward and either share this medicine with the world or actually move forward along your own path without being led from the wound. Okay, this is wonderful. You don't want to do anything being led by the wound. You want to do it being led by love, okay, and by healing, and by you wanting to help heal other people and shift this world into a better place. That's what we're all about right now. Okay, so all of my Aries, Libras, Cancers, and Capricorns are going to be feeling some sort of relief once this happens and Chiron goes direct, because Chiron being in Aries, it has been kind of affecting these signs the most. Saturn steps into Aquarius on the 17th. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff, okay? On the 17th of December, Saturn steps into Aquarius. This means, okay, and on the 19th, Jupiter steps into Aquarius as well. This means, before we get into what Aquarius means, that shortly before that, so like the 16th and the 17th and all that, you're going to have two planets that are going to be in the 29th degree. I'm not sure if I did a video on the 29th degree, but if you speak Spanish, I definitely have it in my Mostly Spas en Español channel, and it's all about the 29th degree and the anaretic degree, but I'm going to give you a brief tutorial here. The 29th degree being the last degree that a planet is in a sign. Remember, every sign is 30 degrees. So a planet is transiting through all these degrees, and then it hits the 29th degree. It's like the last moment it has to get all that experience and all that juice and all that energy and all those lessons from that sign that it was in. Because remember, that's what we're doing here, right? We are on this planet in this wonderful, sort of suit vehicle that is physical, because we're non-physical beings, we're spirit beings having a human experience, right? But then we come in here and we step in all this polarity, we step into a unique situation, your unique design, your unique circumstances and all this, and you do that to have experiences, to evolve, to learn, to teach, to enjoy all these things, right? So if you're not doing that, you're not doing what you came to do. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back into this. So when you're on the 29th degree, those planets are looking to extract the most that they can from that sign. So between the 16th, 17th, and 18th, when Saturn and Jupiter are going to be on the 29th degree of Capricorn, you're going to be feeling, especially if you're a Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, and Libra, we're going to be feeling sort of that last chance, or that last pull, or that last tension with anything related to what has been the triple conjunction, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in Capricorn, these three planets in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign of career, money, material stuff. It's an earth sign. It rules career in the zodiac, in the houses. Okay, it's the builder sign. It's the patriarchy sign. So all the stuff that's been breaking down this year, different structures, organizations, institutions, patriarchy, and our beliefs and relationships to that, all of that's going to come front and center in these sort of last days before these planets change into the new sign of the Age of Aquarius. Okay, so if you feel a little bit like tension, if you feel a little bit like, I have to do some last bit of clearing with regards to my relationship to patriarchy, structure, these sort of things that have been falling apart during 2020, fine. Bless and release, observe, see, keep what serves, okay? And get ready for this much bigger change that's going to happen on the 21st. Okay, just letting you know that might feel a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you're on that axis of Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, Libra. More you'll feel it if you have not just your sun sign, but maybe your ascendant sign or one of your important inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, okay, or a concentration thereof in your personal chart. Which is why I always say, watch these videos with your chart in hand, okay? Check where all of this is going to affect you. The houses video is in this channel. You can always check that to see where, oh, what does she mean by 10th house? Oh, this falls in my 4th house. Oh, okay, family and home is going to be affected. Oh, my 10th house, okay, my career and profession is going to be affected. Oh, 2nd house, oh, okay, my money is going to be affected. My sense of self-worth, net worth is going to be affected. 7th, oh, my relationships, my relation to another, you know, me and my partner, my business partner. So have your chart done, okay? You can go to like astro.com or astronet or something. You can get your chart done for free, and you can come to these videos and check your chart and see exactly what I'm talking about, especially with these monthly StarCast videos, because you're going to be able to plot and plan what is going to be happening and where to take advantage of all of this energy and this information that I give you in these videos, okay? Okay, so 17th, Saturn, planet of, you know, karma and restriction and limitations and discipline, the master teacher planet, okay, steps into Aquarius. Shortly after, on the 19th, Jupiter, planet of expansion, opportunity, growth, steps into Aquarius as well. Okay, so we no longer have the triple conjunction after that. Now we have the great conjunction that's going to be happening when these two meet at 0 degrees, okay, stepping into this new sign of Aquarius at 0 degrees with 28 minutes on the solstice, December 21st. The day before that, Mercury steps into Capricorn. So, you know, thought becomes a little more step-by-step, a little more cautious. And then the sun on the 21st, of course, marking the solstice, steps into the sign of Capricorn, starting Capricorn season. But the most important thing of this is that on that same day, and you know that solstices, as I always tell you on this channel, are portals of energy exchange, amplified. So if full moons and new moons are portals of energy exchange, solstices and equinoxes are both super amplified portals of energy exchange, okay? So the solstice coincides with the great conjunction. The great conjunction is when Saturn and Jupiter come together in the same sign. This happens, you know, there's cycles, okay? There's conjunctions and oppositions happening like every 10, 20 years or so, okay? But the super interesting thing about this is that it's been 200 years or so that these great conjunctions have been happening, or this partnership, these collaborations between Saturn and Jupiter have been happening in Earth signs. So it's been all about material stuff. It's been about the physical things. It's been about structure, okay? Completely different purpose, feeling, and energy than what we're going to be stepping into for the next hundreds of years, which is the energy of Aquarius. So for astrologers, this is going to be marking the era, the official entrance into the Age of Aquarius, which I'm going to talk about in a separate video because it's a huge deal. Huge deal. Not just because Aquarius rules astrology, and so therefore we're uniquely qualified to explain this kind of stuff, but also because there is so much change that is going to be happening. If you think 2020 was a challenge of changes and shifts and what's happening, what is going on, what is happening, just wait. Okay, so you need to be informed so that you can be prepared, so that you can plan and you can take advantage of all of this, in the sense that you can grow, you can evolve, you can participate in the shift rather than be like, what is happening? Okay, that's what we hope for when we give you these videos. And of course, you know, you can always reach out to me, you know, at marilsalispaz.com, so that we can do your chart and see where all these shifts and changes are happening in your own particular chart, and get some strategies for you to actually really hone in on what your purpose is, and, you know, what you came here to do, and what's happening right now with you with regards to all the shifts in this time of transition. Okay, so this great conjunction, it not only has it not been in this an air sign in like 200 years, but it hasn't been in Aquarius for even longer than that. Okay, so we've got a really great opportunity to be prepared to step into all things Aquarius. What does Aquarius, or what does the age of Aquarius mean? We're going to go in depth into all of this in another video because it requires its own video, but let me give you just a few tips. We're talking about innovation. We're talking about intellectual pursuit. We're talking about Aquarius is a sign, of course, an air sign, so it rules the mind. So everything is going to be imagination first and then action, okay? We're talking about going in to see the values of the French Revolution, right? So it's the fraternité, right? So it's like brotherhood, égalité, so it's equality. We're talking about community. We're talking about the greater good. We're talking about progress. Okay, so Aquarius is a sign that's like, okay, what's not just good for me, but what's good for the group? What do we have to do here so that everybody is okay? And it may seem right now that, you know, AKA the powers that be, or the elite or whatever, that there are so many things that are happening that are not in our benefit, that are limiting, you know, and maybe ruining businesses, a small business, or the health, or the whole situation. Things are not being handled the right way. COVID is this, COVID, whatever it might be. Whatever your posture, stance on any of this stuff is, you're going to be going through changes. And you need to be prepared for that. And you need to be ahead of the game of that. Aquarius is a sign that rules the future. And Aquarians, if you have any Aquarius in your life, you probably always hear them say things that you're going to be hearing everybody else say 2 or 5 years later. So this is a sign that urges you to be really, really equipped. It's a sign that rules knowledge. Aquarius, the symbol for it is the water bearer. Okay, so it's the human bringing information, bringing knowledge with a capital K into the world. So you need that information, okay? I'm a sign of Aquarius. Trust me, I'm telling you, this is the way it is with the sign of Aquarius. I'm uniquely, equipped, I think, to talk about these kinds of things because 1, Aquarius rules astrology, and 2, my sun is in Aquarius. So trust me, I've been living with this energy for 43 years and studying it for, the 25 years or so, since I was 15. So this is what you have to deal with in December. The last bigger thing in December is going to be the lunar, the full moon in Cancer on the 30th, 29th. You have to check depending on where you are. I always tell you the times and the days for these events, astrological events and lunar events, according to Pacific time, because I live in Los Angeles. But please check, because if, let's say, you're in Australia or you're in England, this could be a little bit different. So it's about the 29th, 30th that we're going to have the full moon in Cancer. Of course, full moon is sun in one sign. In this case, it'll be in Capricorn, and the moon in another sign, in the sign of Cancer in this instance. The moon rules Cancer, so it's a very comfortable position for the moon to be in. So it's kind of like we're closing the year, even though we've been through and we're going to go through a lot more shifts and changes, with a very nurturing energy, okay? So this is the thing, especially if you're an Aquarius, or if you're an innovator, or if you're, you carry that signature, you have that archetype, Aquarian archetype of innovation, progress, rebel with a cause. You're very conscious that you're here to do something, and you're conscious of your role and your participation in this shift of this time of transition, in this planet, in your own, in inner circle. Or maybe pertaining to what your job is that you do, okay? Nurturing is going to be how you're going to end the year, okay? There's going to be so much that you're going to need to be doing next year. There's so many things that we're all going to be, need to be leading in, participating in, thinking about new ways of doing, that you're going to need your energy for it. So take this full moon in Cancer on the 30th, whatever it is that you do for New Year's, and take this energy and actually really look into how you do your own self-care. And I'm not talking about, self-care is just a bubble bath. No, self-care is not just a bubble bath. Self-care is, I'm going to choose not to get into that argument that this person's trying to rope me into, because I care about me. And I know that energy is going to be very difficult for me to recover from and clear out of my aura and all these things, okay? So let's talk about things that are really starting from the inside and then going out. None of this like, self-care is a shopping fine. Maybe self-care is also your savings account, okay? Well, I told you about Venus and Sagittarius. So self-care, let's look at it in depth. Not all the external stuff, but what does myself, capital S, need to be cared for. Okay, what do I need in order to recharge my battery before going into battle? Because this is not going to be for the faint of heart, this era of Aquarius. Shift and change is part of our nature. Change is the constant, the only constant. However, the change that happens with the age of Aquarius and with the energy of Aquarius is, Aquarius rules lightning. Let me put it that way. Okay, lightning is bam, and it's also can be a little bit shock and a little bit like what just happened again. This is like the theme of this video. I think maybe I should call this video what just happened, or what is happening, or what will be happening. And so you need to be prepared for this. How do we prepare for this? Self-care is crucial for that. Okay, because in order to be resilient during a time of a ton of shifts and changes, you need to know, one, what is not changing. So what can I depend on and rely on? What are these people that I depend and rely on? What are these circumstances that I depend and rely on? Maybe it's my job, maybe it's my safety net, maybe it's my savings, whatever it might be. And maybe it's my sleep routine. Maybe I know that I can count on myself to have a good workout before I go into battle and do all this shifts and change in the area of relationship or business or whatever it may be. You need to find those things that are going to be those foundation rocks for you, okay, of your self-care, so that everything else that's going to be coming, that whirl of shift and change that you're going to be engaging in, is not gonna make you tumble, okay, and it's not going to make you fall. It's just going to be like, all right, really, like Barney in How I Met Your Mother, challenge accepted. Okay, that's where you're going to need to do a lot. So anyway, we can always talk about this in a private astro coaching session where I give you strategies to manage all of this. My email is mariel@marielsalespaz.com. You have all that information here below too. I'll see you on the next video, but until then, please enjoy this Sagittarian energy. It's also very fun and very jovial and very kind of like, where can I really express who I am? So step into that high frequency energy and get ready, because things are going to get even more interesting. Okay, many blessings, lots and lots and lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video.